Maverick 100.9, Aggieland's country alternative. It's Corliss, and this won't sound surprising to you. I'm joined by Will Carter, and this has been happening a lot here lately.
Howdy, howdy. You just can't get away from me. I can't get away from Aggieland. That's the thing.
Right? Which, I mean, why would you? Why would you?
Why would you know what? It's funny, like it just kind of gets in your blood. I went to Katy High School, and Katy High School was all about school spirit just because their big football team always wins, and so it's just rah 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 Katy football. And I played football just because you kind of had to play football. I'm not big enough to play football, but I played football anyway, just because. And I never really got into it. I was actually homeschooled till eighth grade, so the whole school spirit thing just really wasn't my deal. And then when I was going to A&M, I thought, everybody talks about how everybody bleeds maroon, and they're all, there's the tradition there. It's just insane, right? And so I kind of tried to fight it at first, going, that's not me. That won't be me. I wasn't there a semester, and I was all in the thick of it, man. It's in the air. It gets in your blood, and I will forever bleed maroon. In fact, I didn't even mean to, but I'm wearing a maroon shirt right now. I just
It's funny you say that, though, because I'm not even from here. I've never been to any college, let alone Texas A&M. And yeah, I will be an Aggie fan till the day I die. I don't know how it sucked me in so quickly, but it did.
I'm going to say this just because I guess I can, or I should, just being real here. But I was, when I was in high school, I thought, I didn't, but I thought I wanted to go to UT because of the music scene in Austin. And it's funny because my sister, she's a year and a half younger than me, and her entire room was decorated, Texas A&M. She was all about, that's where she was going to go. And turns out she didn't go to A&M. I did go to A&M. And looking back, and I've been saying this for years, like ever since I graduated, just looking back, I've told the story and said, if I could do it all over, I would do it exactly the same way. Like I happened into the best decision that I ever made. I mean, A&M there was just my kind of people there. I would not have been happy living in Austin or going to UT at all. And I'm so thankful that my path just pushed me in the right direction, and I got to go to A&M and experience that and be around just people with my values and my style, my kind of people, man. And it's all worked out phenomenal. I mean, even from not just the experience while I was there, but what I've been able to do with my career after going to that school. I would definitely have a very different life than I do now had I not done that. So I will forever be grateful and appreciative for College Station and Texas A&M University.
It's funny how that works because, we talk about how young you really are when you make those big life-altering decisions.
Yeah.
And
you don't know anything.
You literally don't know anything, especially when you look back on that age, like now, and you're like, how did I make such a good decision when I really had no idea what I was doing? So
Right.
I hate throwing around the word luck, but you almost got lucky, bud.
Something. No, it just worked out, man. I was put in the right place for the right reasons, despite I didn't realize it at the time, but I definitely realize it now.
That's awesome. Well, we are definitely here to chat about some new music today. Will, all year long, you have kept music coming at us consistently. That's incredible. So you're back with another new single called Had It All Wrong. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, this has been a favorite of mine for sure. I wrote this the weekend of the Texas Regional Radio Awards back in, I think it was March or April this year.
This year?
Yeah, this year, yeah. I was up in Arlington, and I was just kind of inspired. To be honest with you, I was getting frustrated with the music industry is really what it was. And I had, growing up in the music industry, not knowing what I was doing, just trying to navigate that, making all the wrong decisions, and working with, producers and other industry folks that would, had their own opinions. And I let those opinions kind of, influence what I was doing. And I was getting frustrated with it. And I just happened to bump into the janitor. I mean, it was the janitor at the hotel in Arlington. And he was like, man, what's going on? Like we were there for the award show. It's supposed to be a big, exciting thing. And I was just kind of like over it. And so I kind of just briefly told him, like, hey, man, struggling with this or whatever, and these things aren't going the way I want to go. He goes, well, when in doubt, just be yourself. And, that just kind of stuck with me. And so I was inspired. I wrote this song, and the song, to me, that's what it's about. It's about, just going back to you, being real. And it's pretty cool. We did the music video just a couple weekends ago, the first half of it. And, we're going to try to capture that scene in the video here with this next shoot. But this past weekend, we were out at my property, and I had just friends and family, and we were sitting around a bonfire out on the property where I grew up. Had all the ATVs and my truck and my drummer's Jeep with all behind us while we're sitting in like little folding chairs with the headlights shining at us with the campfire. We're just jamming around, hanging out with my little nieces and nephews and my band and their kids and their families and whatever. So it's just the story, we kind of, with the video, we're trying to kind of capture the story about an artist that's going to these big label meetings and all that. And it's just not, it's not you, and it doesn't bring you the happiness. And so finally just kind of throwing the towel in and going, you know what, I'm just going to do what I want to do, be true to myself. And if the industry likes it, great. If they don't, great. And so then the video will cut to the scene of us being back just on the property, doing what we really love to do, and enjoying the simple things in life. And so that video is coming out November 11th. We've got a show with Corey Morrow at the Old Trading Post in Richmond on November 5th, where we're going to take some live performance shots while we're up on stage to get those incorporated in the video. So we'll have a few days after that show on the 5th to bounce down the edit real quick, and then we'll be shipping that out on November the 11th. So I always try to let people, I try to write vague enough that people can kind of tweak each, the lyrics to their own personal situation. And I typically don't like to talk about why I wrote it too much, just because I want people to kind of, relate it to their own thoughts and experiences. But in this case, the song is so personal to me. I'm sharing a story with you. So there you go.
I like the story because I think it doesn't necessarily matter what your job is. I think we all get a little lost somewhere in life. And sometimes, influences are great. We all have heroes. We all have people that we look up to. We all have people that mentor us. And some of those are the people that we remember forever, and they made a great impact on our lives. Sometimes the wrong person gets thrown in and we take bad advice. And I think that that's a really realistic thing for anyone to take a look at, and keep in mind that you can take a step back. Just because you made a long time making a mistake doesn't mean that you have to keep it.
That's right. They say, if you make if you're going down the wrong path or you're making a bad decision, the worst thing you can do is just continue because you feel like you've already invested in it. The best thing to do is cut your losses, start over, and get back on the right track.
And that actually spans across many forms in life. For me, at one point in my life, that was an ex-husband. That was,
relationships are a great example. Don't just stay with the person just because you're with them.
Yeah.
They're the wrong person, get out.
Same goes with jobs. It goes through so many aspects of life. So I'm super glad that you were honest about that story. I think it's incredible. And I'm really excited now to debut this to everyone here on Maverick. You're hearing it first from Will Carter, Had It All Wrong. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can find it on any streaming or downloading platform and playing on Maverick 100.9. And today's interview continues now. Maverick 100.9, Aggieland's country alternative. You just heard the latest from Aggieland Artist, Will Carter, and Had It All Wrong, which is streaming everywhere now. You can go get it. And of course, hear it on Maverick. I've got my friend Will Carter with me. And we were talking about experiences and where this crazy music world has taken us. And you've done a lot of discovery this year, whether it was recording your music with your actual band instead of using studio musicians. You're writing from a different place. I assume that that'll be bringing us a lot of new stuff once the new year comes. I know this is your single to end out 2022. What comes after that?
Yeah, so Wrong Side of Town was the first. This was our previous release. That was the first release where we kind of shared with the world what really started back in March with the whole game changer, which the song "Had It All Wrong" was really, that whole incident with the janitor and just kind of the light bulb popping off was kind of what sparked this whole thing. But we put out, I changed what I was doing, brought the band in the studio, and we recorded Wrong Side of Town just the way that we do it live. Just the same guys that play the song on stage every weekend across Texas, across the U.S., playing the song that people like to hear. Let's just, the idea was let's just record what we do. And if you like it, great. If you don't, great. Because most artists don't do that. Most artists are using studio musicians and session musicians, and then their live band learns those songs and plays them. So it's kind of, in essence, the old school way of doing things. But just, we booked some studio time at Edgewater down in Sugarland, which is fairly central to where we all live. Walked in and pressed record, right? So that's what we got. And I loved it. I absolutely loved what we got out of it. And I'm super excited about the whole album because the whole album's be done the same way. So Had It All Wrong was the second one that we did. And we've got a weekend coming up. It's the last weekend in November. We're going to go in and finish out the rest of an EP and look to try to get that out. If I can squeeze it out this year, I will. But we work pretty quick. I mean, with an hour or two, we get a song done. So we'll see if we can't. But no later than January 2023, we'll at least be able to drop the first half of the album, which we'll call an EP. And that whole entire thing will be just a different writing style without any, outside influences, essentially. And then the same thing when it comes to the production side of things. It'll be the band, the Will Carter Band, the guys that you see in all the photos and all the shows and, all the music videos and all that. That's the same guys that are playing that stuff on the record. So it's pretty exciting. It's a much cooler feeling. Just this song, for example. I mean, the first time I heard it after it dropped on, what was that, the 21st, I think, of October. The first time I heard it, we were actually on our way out of town for a weekend of shows. We're playing up in like the Tyler area for a festival, and we had a couple other shows built around that. And we were all traveling, and we're kind of just listening to it all together on the road and going, yep, that was all of us in that same room doing it. It's just a totally different vibe and a totally different feel. So
I can see it on your face. I can hear it in the music. Like I think what you're doing is great. And I hope at some point, some people will follow suit. I think a year from now, you're going to see how much you are inspiring other artists to maybe go that route as well and find out who they are. And I think that's great. I'm stoked for more music from you. Everybody, speaking of that band and this sound and everything that you can see and hear and touch. I mean, no inappropriate touches, but you can touch them. They do hug. Unless you're me, then I'm inappropriate pretty much at all times, but I get the coreless pass. That's my little coreless pass. But seriously, keep your eyes open around Aggieland. We do still have a few home games. People are booking Will Carter for shows left and right because he loves Aggie football. He drank the Kool-Aid. He's here. So always be looking out for him. Follow him on all socials, websites, everything. Will, we love you. We're always so happy for everything new you've got bringing our way. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love you guys too. I love Aggieland, and I love Maverick 109, and I love Corliss and all of her inappropriateness.